Hello YouTube coin collectors and stackers. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing. I'm very excited about it. It's my first package I've received from Coin Guy in Spring Hill, Florida. So I'm very excited to do this unboxing and see what's in here. Well, I know what's in here and I'll tell you what's in here. It's a 1949 uncirculated set in the original OGP. Very excited to have it. We're going to get into why I got interested in these and we'll do this unboxing here in a moment. But before we do, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I sincerely appreciate it. And as always, thank you for watching. So if you've watched any of my recent videos, you will have seen that I ended up buying some of these 49 mint sets and in bits and pieces. So this is one that I bought that didn't come in this nice capital holder. It was just sort of in little bags, in little plastic bags, and I bought the capital holder to essentially get it all in here. And one of the things that's interesting about this set too is each one of the Lincoln cents is a distinctly different color. And it's hard to see here. I'm trying to do this without the ring light on. But three very different shades of red and patina on these Lincoln cents. The nickels themselves have some really interesting toning on them. Of course, there was no Washington quarter from San Francisco that year. There is the empty spot for that. But nice sets. You know, these are, I would say choice. They, got banged around a little bit in the years, but these are from the original owner from 1949. So when I first got these going, I found just sort of half the set, and you'll see that, this is kind of half the set here. Then this is the second half of the set. So this is the original owner, came in the OGP. Here's the receipt. And now from my research, it wasn't quite $6. I think it was $5.85 or something like that to buy the 1949 mint set with postage and everything in 1949. But here's, mailed to the client. Well, I bought it from the grandchildren of the client who lived in Wichita, Kansas in 1949. And it's really cool to have this sort of receipt from that purchase. But here's the other part of the set, and there was all sorts of 1949s in this set, like lots and lots of them. It's almost worth turning the ring light on so you can see the toning on this one. It's got, there you can see it there a little bit. I want to keep the ring light off because it's very distracting. But this was sitting in an old Whitman album for decades, and there's a lot of really cool toned Franklins like this 1949 Philly that were sitting in for a long time. Here's another one. So there were so many 1949 Franklins in this collection I've been buying. It's pretty unbelievable. A lot of them are very well struck. There's no full bell lines, but you can see on that one, it's really close. You can see how well struck this particular Franklin half dollar is. And let me zoom out just a hair here as well. So I got really interested in these and why, they were so cool. What happened to the original OGP with this, and I wanted to go and get a set. So what was interesting was I was watching Coin Guy's channel and Nathan was filming it and they brought out this set. So this was a couple of weeks ago. So I contacted Coin Guy. Nathan got right back to me and said, oh, we've already sold it. Really, really, really sorry. And I was like, okay, cool. Then a couple days later, he's like, oh, the deal fell through. You still interested? Now, this was over Labor Day weekend. And, it was a couple of days. They were off. They were closed. A lot of coin shops are closed over Labor Day weekend. So he got back to me on the Monday, and I said, yeah, let's do it. And he got it right out to me. Now, the post office was a whole other kettle of fish in actually getting this to me. It was delivered last Friday, delivered air quotes, and I got it today finally, which was a little harrowing given that this is not an inexpensive set in the OGP. I'll say that, dealing with Coin Guy and Nathan was super smooth, super easy. The price that they gave me was incredibly fair for what this is. And if you watch the video, I'm going to see if I can find it and post a link to that video below. But there were only 6,000 of these sets made. And if you look at, the reason I have all these other ones out is, if you think that there were 6,000 of these sets made originally in 1949, how many are left in the OGP? So Coin Guy asked the question in the video. And just from my experience in buying this one collection, where we have 1, 2, which is the two halves, there's another 1.5 that they have back there as well that I'm going to be buying on visit 4. So these are obviously all not in the OGP. And yet I know these were originally because I bought them from the grandson of the original purchaser of these in 1949. So I'm literally like the second owner if you don't count people that were in the family. So let's jump into the unboxing at the 5-minute point here, and thank you for your patience. And let's see what we got in here. So this, so I got the box a little off camera here, so I'm assuming what's in here is the set, and it is. Put that aside over there, we don't need that. And this is it right here. So, you know, nice and safely packaged up, uncirculated PDS in the envelope. And I'm gonna get this out of the bag. We're just gonna put it down for a minute. And it looks like Coin Guy may have included some other goodies in here. So, so we're gonna come back and look at this in a moment. So let's just put that right there. And what else do we have here? We have, oh, this is fun. We got a little coaster of a Coin Guy. That's great. That's super cool. I love how they did that. That's a really interesting, cool image there. So we'll just put him there, and we'll visit with Coin Guy. Thank you, sir. And it looks like we got a little water bottle too, with the owl and everything on it. Wow, that was super nice of you guys to throw that extra stuff in. I appreciate that. That's super cool. Let's dig into the uncirculated set. Again, 6,000 of these were made. How many are left in packaging like this? Probably not too many, since these sets routinely go for well over $1,000. Let's say, if you look on eBay, you know, these are going from anywhere from $1,200 to $1,300. You might be able to get one for less than that. Coin Guy sold this one to me for $1,100 with the shipping and everything, which was a super good deal, and I really super appreciate them hooking me up like that. So what we have is we have 3 sets, and what confused me about this set was, so we have the P, the D, and the S. So if we look at them one at a time, what's interesting about this set that threw me off when I was first appraising these, because I wasn't really familiar with this set, I never had one before, was the fact that, so if we open up the P, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see these, and really look at them, let's really zoom in. You can see that I have 2 sets, 2 dimes, 2 nickels, 2 half dollars, and 2 quarters. So this is like one of these crazy double sets where each one of the mints gave you 2. And that's pretty wild. That threw me off when I was appraising this at first. And you can see, you know, this stuff just sitting in here, how the silver interacts with the hydrogen sulfide that is in the paper. And that's what causes all this crazy, wacky toning. And also let you know that, you know, these are the original coins that were in here. This is how they look. This is what they look like when they've been sitting in the paper all this time. And, you know, it's hard to fake. Even if you were to find this paper and slap some new coins in here, you would need to let them sit for a while before you actually were able to get them to look like that. And we're talking decades and decades. So now let's move on to the Denver. So that was the Philly. This is the Denver. And it feels so fragile to me. This stuff feels so old. The toning on the nickels is pretty neat. Look at that. When nickel tones, it's very, very interesting. There's a guy in my coin club who please putting together like a registry set of toned nickels, gem toned nickels, and it's really neat. He's got some really cool pieces, all in PCGS holders. Again, nice original coins, nice original skin on these. You know, how many of these coins have been pulled out and dipped, you know, and stuck in holders? Like, you know, here's one that's in a holder. I can't say that this came out of one of these sets. It's a really nice coin, you know, MS63, but it's got some hits on it, scrapes on it. But, you know, did that come out of one of these sets originally? It's hard to know. But, you know, I could see why it would be so tempting to just take these out, dip them, send them in for grading, and get a complete, you know, graded set of these. If I were to let's look at these a little, zoom in and see what sort of grading we might do on these. Because you can see there's a little hit, you know, but this Franklin is really, really, really clean. It's hard to know. With the toning, these are very, very hard, especially this one, right? Like, what kind of grade would that get? You have to really look at that under some magnification with some strong light, but really clean. Look, like the cheek on the Franklin there, super clean. Fields are super clean. I don't see any crazy hits on these. I'm reticent to take it out. Whoa, it's popping right out. Okay, let's take this one. Let's see if we can just get this guy out and take a look and see if we get some bell lines or anything on it. Well, I don't know if that would get full bell lines, but it's a well-struck coin. Got a couple little lines through the right there on the left of the crack and down the bottom at the left. But you can see how well struck the coin is itself, and as you hold it up under the light, I would say that that's a gem coin. You guys feel free to add your own opinions in there if you would like, but I think that that's a pretty nice coin. Even if we look at the Franklin up really close here, you can see there's a couple little things on the cheek, but something in the field there at like K10. But otherwise, and that looks like just reading from another coin, hitting it when it was coming down the chute. Very, very clean, nice coin. So those are the Denvers. Now let's look at the San Franciscos. And as I mentioned, the San Francisco Mint in 1949 did not make quarters, so you're not going to see them in the set, obviously. And this one's got much darker toning on it for some reason than the others. But again, this is what they're supposed to look like when they've been sitting in this paper for, you know, gosh, we're talking like 85 years that these have been sitting in this paper. Surprised they're not jet black. I'm going to see if I can look. Let's look at one of these San Franciscos up close and see what we have for, well, obviously what we expect from San Francisco in those days, a weaker strike on the back, on the reverse. Looking at the bell lines, they're pretty weak, but nice luster on this coin. And I don't have any light. This is just the ambient light in the room, and we can see there's like really yellows and there's some greens in there around, along with the kind of dark overtoning that's happened on this one. I was very excited to get this set. Again, you know, after buying the sets that were, you'd say like, why would I go and buy this set here when I already have so many copies? Of course, I have all the Franklins in here. I have multiples. I have some in slabs. What's interesting to me is, you know, the premium that this gets because of, you know, what is essentially cheap paper. This is cheap cardboard, cheap paper. This is not sealed in any way like you would see of later proof sets and mint sets where they would actually seal them in the packaging, so you'd have to cut them out to get them out. These just pop out. It's like a little, you know, Weight Raymond type of, you know, thing that you stick them in. But I thought it was really neat to have these in my permanent deep stack collection. So the rest of these will be sold, and the next one, two that I'm picking up are all going to be sold on my eBay store. But the one in the OGP here goes into the Morgan Rounds Numismatics deep stack, because I don't know how many of these still exist. I'm guessing it's way less than 5,000. I'm also guessing that it's impossible to estimate how many of these would remain in the OGP, but we can tell by the prices as they get up over $1,000, $1,200, $1,300 for these guys, that they're obviously getting scarcer and scarcer as time goes on. The pressure to bust them out, dip them, and get them into holders to sell them for a premium is probably pretty tempting, especially if you find, you know, coins that have full bell lines and full torch and things like this, full steps on the nickels, etc. Would be very tempting to bust them out. And, you know, as some of these literally have not seen the light of day other than me buying them in decades, it's really nice to actually have an original set. So thank you, Coin Guy, for, you know, helping me out with these. Thank you, Nathan, for being so awesome to work with and making this transaction so easy. Again, I'm going to put a link to Coin Guy's channel below. Lately, they're doing a lot of great pieces on the inventory in the store, and they're always getting some great stuff in there all the time. So I got a bunch of Carson City dollars in the one I was watching last night. Thank you guys. As always, I appreciate you watching, especially if you stuck around this long. And as always, happy collecting.